So I'm making this video because I went through this and it was one of the scariest, most difficult things that I have been through, and it was very, very surprising and very scary, embarrassing as well. It was a lot of things, but one of the biggest issues that I had was that I couldn't find any assistance. Even on YouTube, there's not much. The internet doesn't have much. I went to doctors, I called helplines, even the emergency at the hospital, and it was like people just wouldn't take me seriously because the medical industry and people in general don't really understand this drug and what it can do if you abuse it, because it's been around for a fair while. I think they've been using it for 150 years, and when they first discovered nitrous, it just became a kind of party drug that they were using. So I didn't find a lot of literature on that stuff, but all I know is it's been around for so long and it's considered so harmless that really there's just no awareness about the dangers of this thing. I read up on a fair few studies and things like that, and it is something that is known, but it's quite they just don't talk about it a lot. And yeah, it's sort of crept up on me. And the fact of the matter is, this stuff in most places is available 24/7, delivered to your home. So it's really this is a really difficult thing, and this drug is very powerful in terms of they don't even really understand its mechanism fully. But for me, the withdrawals felt kind of like opiate withdrawals. And I read that it does have an opiate quality to it. It has an affinity for the opiate receptors, the similar action to the benzodiazepines. It has a lot of similarities between a lot of very dangerous drugs. The thing with this one is it's so intense. The high is so fast and it's so intense that it just quickly takes over. And it really crept up on me. Like I remember when I was younger, used to party, we'd have some nitrous. But then later on, I had some again, and I just kept wanting to do it. And then I found out you could get it delivered anytime, and I ended up binging on this stuff for a fair while, day after day, spent so much money. And that happened a couple of times before I eventually stopped. And it was very difficult. I could see that this drug could ruin my life. It could ruin everything, because it just, the cravings for this pointless, stupid devil's drug, very powerful, and you just want to keep doing it day after day, and it's expensive. It's not cheap, and it's embarrassing, and it's isolating, and there's no help. It's very difficult, this thing. So for those of you going through this and you can't find any information online and you need some help, I wanted to make this video. I wanted to make a clear step-by-step guide to help anyone who is going through this, anyone who wants to stop. So hopefully it helps anyway. So the step number one to stop this stuff is that, unfortunately, it has to cause you a lot of pain. If something doesn't cause you pain, then you have no motivation to stop doing it. If you found this video, it means that you've probably reached that point. There needs to be pain, shame, wasted money, all these problems in your life because of this thing. And that doesn't take long to build up. That doesn't take long to happen with this drug, because you just want to keep doing it all day. So connect to that pain first, and don't forget it. Then you need to see the pointlessness of doing this drug. Even while you're doing it, just watch yourself doing this pointless thing, because the key with drugs is that they're all the same in terms of all they're doing is causing an imbalance that eventually has to be set right. Nature always creates balance. So you create this wild imbalance by taking the drug, and then with this drug, very quickly it will have to revert to balance. So within a few minutes, within a few days, if you've been taking a lot of it, you go back the other way, which is a very negative experience. So for a few minutes or even a few hours of a kind of positive experience, you're then spending days, if not weeks, of a negative experience. And it's just the way with all drugs. It doesn't matter which one: alcohol, caffeine, cocaine, porn, sugar, all these artificial means that we change our bodies. They create imbalances that the body quickly has to correct. This cannot ever be the answer to our problems. No drug is a permanent answer to our problems. It causes more problems. It will always cause more problems than it will solve. Always, without fail. I don't care what anyone says. If you disagree, then feel free to comment. It's going to be very hard to convince me because I've had so many experiences with these things. I've had so many friends and people that I know, and I've just read so much about it and looked into it so much that I'm completely convinced that drugs are not the answer. If we want to make change that's permanent, then we have to create consistency. We have to create practices like feeling our emotions and meditation. We have to create healthy habits like exercise and eating well. These things don't immediately make you feel better, but they compound. And that's the difference between drugs, right? Drugs create an imbalance immediately that then has to be corrected. Whether the drug's in your system or not, the body will correct. But if we to make actual consistent change, permanent deep change in our bodies, we need to uncover things like trauma and repression. We need to change our diets and our lifestyles and the way we live our lives. The drugs will never fix the problems. They will only cause more. We need to see the pointlessness of them. Short-term high, long-term destruction. It's like that with everything. If you want to have long-term success, you need to experience short-term pain. Vice versa, if you want to have long-term pain, you need to experience short-term success or short-term positive experiences like drugs. Do the easy thing and have a shitty life. Do the hard thing and have a good life. It really comes down to that. Every time you do any of these drugs, you're just creating more urges or more wants to do the drug, and you're taking away your future resources, your future happiness, your future peace, your future finances. It just takes away from that until you can't get back up again and you've destroyed your life. And that is a legitimate thing that can and will happen. Just go outside and look at the homeless people. A lot of them are due to this. So then once you've connected to your pain, once you've seen the pointlessness of doing these stupid substances, you need to see through the illusion that keeps you wanting to do the drug. So you can see that the drug is pointless. You can see that you want to do it, then you do it, and you didn't really want to, like when you did it, it wasn't even as good as you thought. Really what's going on here is it's to do with the urge to take the drug, the addictive urge. These come up when you want the drug, when you crave the drug, when you have this sensation in the body that needs to be resolved by taking the drug. It seems to take over your feelings and your mind. It seems to cause you to rationalize ways to try to get the drug or fantasize about having it or figuring out how to get money to get it and all these sort of things. This is the addictive urge in action. This is the reason that you use any drug. You would not use a drug that you don't have an addictive urge to use. If you then remove the drug or you don't do it anymore for a significant enough period of time, usually a month or more, the addictive urge goes away completely. I haven't had a drink of alcohol in 16 years, and I never ever get the urge to do it. I have taken other things that then created an urge to drink, which was interesting. So what that means is that the addictive urge can cross over. That say you quit nitrous for a few months, but then you go binge drink, you may get an urge to do nitrous and it could fuck the whole thing up. So if you want to beat your addictions, you must beat all of them. You must beat these addictive urges by not transferring them, not allowing them to transfer over into food binges or porn or any artificial addictive substance, cut them all out. When the urge comes up, don't let it take you over. Just see it as this monster that's inside you that's trying to kill you. It's created by artificial things that make us feel really good, make us feel too good. Then the urge, like a survival mechanism, comes up to do it again because it thinks we need it to survive. It's almost like we kind of break the survival mechanism by using these chemicals or substances. So when it comes up, see it as this monster that you've created, but it's not you. It's just like this mechanism in the body that's gone wrong. This monster will kill you. It doesn't care about your physical body. It doesn't care about your mental health, your finances. It doesn't care about your friendships and family and relationships and job and purpose. And it doesn't care if you have a good life or not. It just wants to be fed, like this monster that's out of control. You cannot feed it. You cannot let it take over your mind. It will try to rationalize. It will try to take over your thoughts and create interesting and very clever ways to convince you to use it. You have to see this is not part of you. It is an illusion. Separate yourself from this urge. Dismiss the urge is another way I've heard it put. And then just move on to do other things. So that is sort of the first step. Connecting to the pain, seeing the pointlessness of it, and seeing through the illusion. They all sort of tie in together. Once you've done that, step 2 is pretty easy. To make the decision to stop forever no matter what. It generally happens automatically if you do step 1 well enough. You'll realize, yes, I can never do this again because it's an illusion, because it's pointless, because it will kill me and it's destroying my life. I'm much happier without this thing. So make the decision to stop forever and do it. And then step 3 is then you stop doing it, so you have to deal with the withdrawals. For me, they were pretty bad. It was a few days of numbness in weird areas of the body. I had like headaches and diarrhea and nausea and weakness and depression and anxiety and panic and all the things that you would associate with a drug withdrawal. It was pretty difficult. But they only lasted a few days. The most difficult part was the cravings, but they're just the urges, right? So if you reshape them, if you listen to what I said before about urges, it makes it easy. And you've already made the decision to stop forever, so the urges become irrelevant. But after a few days, they got better. It was difficult because I did go to the emergency department, and even they were weird about it because I was freaking out a fair bit. They gave me some diazepam to help me sleep. It did do that, but the thing with diazepam is that it's triggering, so I do try to avoid it. If you want to do it, go for it, but bear in mind this is another drug. This can create more cravings, more problems. It's only a few days, and you can do it. I took magnesium to help me relax and sleep. I took vitamin B complex because, and that did help, I believe, because it does deplete your vitamin B, especially B12, I believe. But if you're really scared, go to the emergency. Don't worry, forget the doctors, forget the drug lines, all these things that I tried. They don't know. This isn't something that go to the emergency. I told them I'm embarrassed, but this is what I've done, and they seem to listen mostly. Some people were weird about it. And it's part of the issue is that it can be embarrassing, this devil's drug. So while you're going through these withdrawals, be around people or at least be in public places as much as possible, especially for the first 7 days. So, if you have a job, fine, go there, but after work or even at night, try to be with people because you're not going to do this drug when you're with people. Or at least be in public places. Go to the library and work there, or start a project. Use all this pain and time that you now have to do something productive. Remember, short-term pain is long-term gain. So do something difficult that you've always wanted to do, and maybe make some videos about your experiences with this thing. But be in a public place, because when you're alone, it's more easy for you to use this stuff. You need money and access to the internet to get it, so you could cut those things off. Give your phone or whatever internet access to someone for a period of time for the first week or whatever. There are many ways that you can go about this. But once you've made that decision to never use again, it's just about getting through that first week, I believe. So that's pretty much it for me. I hope this helps someone out there. I know it's an embarrassing, awful, weird, crazy thing, but it was incredibly scary and it was incredibly difficult to stop. So anyone out there going through this, much love to all of you. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or need help or anything at all. Thanks, guys.